This is Dijon and I'm Marilee, and welcome to our first case study. It's a really interesting patient, and you'll see a couple of these throughout our series, and our podcast is what we like to call it, or whatever you feel is more suitable. So today we're going to be discussing an interesting patient Dijon has dealt with, and just for everyone out there, it's all anonymous.
Yes.
No one knows who this is. We're just discussing what this patient has and how Dijon has been dealing with it, and what improvements she's seen, what hasn't she seen, and what she's kind of looking for and what she does in the sessions.
So this patient was referred to me by a chiropractor, and with the chiropractor was treating this patient for neck pain and lower back pain. Chronic patient. The patient's young, 50, and I can say that because I'm nearly 50, so definitely young. Long history with a whole lot of issues, not just orthopedic issues, but other things that I'll delve into. So they've had a fusion of C5, 6, and 7, so that's in your neck here, as well as a fusion of L5S1 right at the base of the lower back, and that was five years ago. And actually has recovered remarkably well from fusions, because fusions really they are hectic procedures.
And they're also a last resort kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Because what does a fusion entail? It's like you fusing the vertebra of your back, essentially.
With a cage.
Yes.
So once those vertebrae are fused, they don't go anywhere. And very often, whatever happens below and above that also takes strain.
Yeah.
So it really is quite a hectic procedure. This patient also, at the age of 23 years old, they had thoracic outlet syndrome, which is basically a compressed nerve.
Yes, so we have a nerve bundle that sits in our neck here, or from here all the way down, and it gets compressed either by some of the muscles, our clavicle, which is your collarbone, first rib, and it compresses the nerves, it compresses an artery and veins, so it's a whole thing. And what you get is you get kind of like a numbness, tingling, and pain down the arm. It's very uncomfortable.
So at 23, they actually had their first rib removed, which is quite an intense procedure.
Yeah.
So over and above all of this, with the fusions and all that kind of jazz, this patient also has fibromyalgia, which is definitely falls under, fibromyalgia actually falls under the arthritic group.
Yeah.
It is a chronic pain condition. It's not degenerative, yes, it doesn't degenerate really, but
it can get worse, and it has flare-ups.
Yeah, it has flare-ups, that's it. So basically it's inflammation at where your tendon attaches onto your bone.
Yeah.
And then that obviously then spreads right throughout the body.
And it has like specific trigger points, so like lower back, shoulders, that kind of thing. So it's quite an intense thing, and as
I say, it has different flare-ups.
Yeah.
It can flare up with emotional stress, can flare up with a whole lot of other things.
Diet as well.
Yeah. And this patient also has Addison's disease, diagnosed at the age of 32.
And then for those who don't know, what is Addison's disease?
So Addison's disease is where your body doesn't produce any cortisol. So that is your stress hormone.
Yeah, so that's what sends our adrenaline pumping, and cortisol is also, it has the generic version, or what we use not us, but what people use in injections is cortisone.
Yeah.
And that's an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So this patient also has fibromyalgia, and on top of Addison's, which are both inflammatory diseases. So you can imagine the amount of pain this patient feels all the time.
And if you have what they call an Addison's crisis, that's when it has a huge flare-up. So this patient's on cortisone daily. They just have to address the symptoms as and when they come up. And then over and above, there's also osteoarthritis, which is again another inflammatory condition. So this poor patient it's got a lot going on over and above just the orthopedic issues.
Yes.
They were referred to me by this chiropractor to really try and help with the chronic neck and lower back pain.
Yeah.
So I must say we had a very interesting assessment. It took quite some time because we had to go through so many different things. And over and above myself, with this patient seeing myself and a chiropractor. They also see a physiotherapist. They've obviously got their own specialists to do with all their own individual issues, so there's a lot, it's a big team that works together.
Yeah, so it's an interdisciplinary team, which is always what we want. We want healthcare practitioners to be working together always, every time, with any patient, because it's for the better outcome of the patient. And it's one of my deep passions is multidisciplinary teams and education for patients.
So when they came to see me, the main issue that they were having was pain into the upper traps, so right sort of in this upper back area up into the neck, really very, very uncomfortable. So that's what I sort of started dealing with, because I thought, but when you get an interesting case study like this, you do have to, although you think, okay, neck, the person is not just made up of a neck.
Yes.
With everything else, you've got to take all that information. And that's where, as biokineticists, we really do, we look at a person from a holistic point of view.
Yeah, we look at everything. I mean, a person isn't just going to come in with one issue. So I have a lot of patients that have come to me for knees or shoulders, but on top of that, they have chronic issues like high blood pressure, diabetes type 1 or type 2, and also there's a lot of chronic pain that we deal with. And that's the other thing as well. So it's not just one, we can't just look at one thing in isolation.
Yeah.
Have a little visit.
Yes, little bee. Hello. So I started with my full assessment, and my main thing is during that assessment was to figure out what movements would cause the patient the least amount of pain. I struggle with pain on a daily basis, so I don't want to give a patient anything that's going to increase the pain.
Yeah.
So I really looked at working on the stability muscles between the scapula, between the shoulder blades, really looking at those deep muscles to try and help give them better strength in the upper back, better posture, and initially they did extremely well. They were really happy with things. Also very compliant patient, which always helps.
Always helps.
Really does help.
Do your at-home exercises, please, and thank you.
Yeah, but then during sort of the process of me seeing the patient sort of on a sort of weekly or 2 weekly basis, they contracted flu, which then set off the Addisons and the fibro and everything. So that really set this person back, and we then, and that just means that we've just got to adjust, which we do as bios.
If you have to take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, then that's what you do. And that's what I really like, is you can adjust it for the patient to suit their needs. It's not a print out, say this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And
there's no hard and fast rules.
No, definitely not.
And I just said to this person, I said, don't stress, we will get back on track again. But at that point, I mean, we've spoken about rest is best. At that point, they actually did have to have a period of rest.
Yes.
And I said, it's not a problem because we can get back on track and we just adjust.
Yeah.
And that's really where seeing a biokineticist makes a big difference. Is that you've got somebody who understands how the body works, and we know when to push, we know when to pull back. And they got back on track again actually pretty quickly. And the last time, very nicely. And the last time I saw them, they were doing extremely well. So they hadn't had to go back to the chiropractor, which is also a good sign.
Yes.
And in fact, the chiropractor who referred was very happy with that because the people, we want to see people get better.
Yeah, we're here for people that need us. Like I've said before, if you don't need us, that's fine. But we're also here for injury prevention.
Yeah.
But when you stop seeing a doctor or a physician or a healthcare practitioner, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
it means you're back to how you were before anything happened.
And this patient will be an ongoing patient. Not that I have to see them every week, which I certainly don't. But so this patient is now got a good base, and they are working on their home program. And then I check in every now and then, and we tweak things or we change things. And I think the take home from this particular case study is that it doesn't matter if you've got a whole bucket full of issues. We as bios, we can pick them apart, and we can know that if you've got that and if you've got that, that do bounce
Yes.
off
Yes.
each other, but we can figure out how to make your body work, taking everything into account.
100%. And then if you have an interesting case that you want us to dive into, or if you think you have too many problems, it's never too much.
No.
We are so willing and wanting to help you, whether it's chronic, whether it's orthopedic, whether you have a shoulder issue, a back issue, a knee issue, and an ankle issue. We are so ready to help.
And we love a bucket full of problems.
We love a bucket full of problems. Catch us next week again with our next episode, what we do in an evaluation and how it looks inside. Because a lot of the times, even if you say I'm a biokineticist, people think science, lab, no.
Yeah.
I think about half an hour, we sit for about half an hour chatting to you.
Yes.
Finding out who you are, what you do. But next week we're going to dive into how we do it and what kind of questions we ask. So catch us next week.
Cheers.